So Andreas Hale, senior combat sports writer for the Sporting News, and I'm here with the unified welterweight champion, Errol Spence Jr. Errol, the first thing I want to ask you is, a few years ago, you were supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, and now you're getting ready to fight Terence Crawford. How much bigger is this fight for you and your legacy than the Pacquiao fight was supposed to be?
I feel like it's way bigger. The Pacquiao, I think that I was going to fight, he was kind of a shell of himself, and that was basically just, a crossover fight. It was going to bring more fans that don't really watch boxing because, Pacquiao is such an icon. Or the Terence Crawford fight, this is, all about legacy. This is, I feel like, the biggest fight in the last 20 years, especially on Showtime pay-per-view. So this is going to be an amazing event. I can't wait. This is definitely a legacy-defining fight where I got to use everything that I have to defeat him because I know he's coming with it. I know he's training hard and 100% focused. And his mentality is just like mine, and that's to win and dominate.
What about the cultural significance of the fight? And the reason why I asked that is it hasn't been since Ali Frazier that we've had two African-Americans undefeated, recognized as two of the best fighters in the world, fighting in a major event. It hasn't happened since Ali Frazier. Maybe you could say Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, and then now it's you two. How important is that for the culture?
It's definitely important for the culture. To let everybody, especially all our people that's coming out, not even just coming out, but, ordering on Showtime pay-per-view. It's going to be very important to get the support of my people and make sure that they come out and watch this fight and they come order it because it's going to be a terrific fight. Everybody knows Terence Crawford is an exciting fight. I'm in exciting, great fights too. Putting us together, both our mentalities together, it's going to be an electrifying fight that no one wants to miss because this is one for the record.
I've heard you often talk about, other promoters like Oscar De La Hoya not really knowing how to market black fighters. And for this particular fight, we have two black fighters who don't have to do anything crazy to sell a fight. It's literally just your skills and your talent is what people want to see. How important is that to you? Because I know you're big on culture and representation.
It's very important to me. It shows people that, you don't have to be ignorant. You don't have to, flash money around and, have buy the jury in different cars just to get people to notice. People notice us about hard work. His accolades speak for itself. My accolades speak for itself. And people in tune with this fight because they see us as two great fighters, the best in the world, especially at 147 pounds. And now we're fighting each other for all the marbles. So I think it's definitely helping our coach out and making people realize that you don't have to act a total ass, just to get people to pay attention.
Naoya Inoue just beat Stephen Fulton, and everybody's talking about Naoya Inoue is now the number one pound-for-pound fighter of the world. Does that change after Saturday night? The winner of this fight is the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
Oh, definitely. It definitely changes Saturday night on Showtime pay-per-view. Inoue, he's a great fighter. He put on a great performance. But the guy that he beat was not in the top 10 pound for pound. And, we're fighting. We're the two best fighters in our weight class. Me and him are the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world that's recognized, worldly recognized. So this is for all the marbles. So whoever wins this fight will be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And I don't care if Ring Magazine don't rank us pound for pound in the world. By the public, we should be the number one pound for pound in the world because I defeated a great opponent.
This fight is for all the marbles, but there's one belt that's not on the line, and that's over in the UFC. They're doing a BMF title fight, the bad motherfucker title. Shouldn't that be between you two to see who the BMF champion is? Because it seems like you two are the baddest in the sport.
Me and Terence Crawford, we don't have to fight for a BMF title, a bad motherfucker. The world win this fight, is the baddest motherfucker in combat sports, period. So we just need everybody just tune in on Showtime pay-per-view come Saturday night so I can put on a great show, a great performance, and everybody realize who's the bad BMF in sport and combat sports.
I want to take notice of your clothes because you wear the big fist, the shark, but you were wearing black Air Force Ones at the Grand Arrivals, and in the culture, black Air Force Ones mean business. Was that on purpose?
Yeah, definitely on purpose. I wore black Air Forces my last fight against the guys, and I wear black forces on a regular. That means I mean business, and I don't come to play. So our coaches know about the black Air Force. But the black Air Force, especially when you tie them up, you doping out them. You're not playing no games.
My last question for you, Errol, is this fight is a legacy-defining fight. You've mentioned that a lot. And I've asked you this before, but I want to get your take because this fight could also be one of the best fights of all time in terms of action. Now, I'm not going to say that you would be disappointed if you knocked him out in one round, but the idea that you could have a fight that can go down in history like Leonard Hearns or Hagler Hearns, is that appealing to you to give the fans a fight that they can remember and, something that they can historically talk about for the rest and pass on to their kids?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think it's something that, like I said this before, I want a kid that's 15, 14 years old and, he watching me fight on YouTube or whatever it is on social media 15, 20, 30 years from now. And he's like, man, I want to have a fight like Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I want to be in one of those fights. That's the same thing with me when I was 14, 15 years old. And I was on YouTube watching Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns or Ray versus Marvin or watching Roberto Duran and watching all these old school fights. Even watching Evander Holyfield fight. And watching all the fights and like, man, I want to have a fight like that. Legacy to find a fight. And just watching how the press conference was and, just the stuff before the actual fight, is great. And to have a kid 20, 30 years from now, being in a position I was an amateur and say, man, I want to have a future fight like Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, where I can show people what I'm made of. That's just great.
But if this does go one round, you're perfectly okay with the first round knockout because you don't get paid for overtime.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely okay with the first round knockout because, like you said, you don't get paid for overtime, and you're losing brain cells in there as the rounds go. So if it can go in the first, second, third round, I wouldn't mind it. But not in the first round because we gotta get more people keep buying that Showtime pay-per-view. So, but yeah, the second, third, fourth round, it can definitely happen.
Well, I appreciate you, Errol. I'm glad you plugged it to make sure that people buy the Showtime pay-per-view. But thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend, and I hope we have a classic fight between you and Terence.
Thank you. I appreciate it.